know what you're thinking. How can you know? Surely the media knows more. My media source has far more accurate. Obviously, you're just listening to propaganda. Well, I tell you this. I watch both Ukrainian and pro-Russian media. And every single time when Ukraine does something bad, Russia's like, Ukraine did this. Ukraine's like, Russia did this. When Russia does something bad, Russia's like, Ukraine did this. Ukraine's like, Russia did this. Every single time. And I'm sorry, but I don't think the Ukrainians are carrying out a large-scale disinformation campaign. And same with the Russians. Well, actually, no, I think the disinformation campaign is focused on saying the stuff we did bad was actually done by the other people. Yes. So, every single time, for example, when Russia attacked a train station and killed a whole bunch of civilians, they said it was a Ukrainian missile, when it was probably a Russian missile. And in Bucha, while Russia probably killed a lot of civilians, I've got no doubt that the Ukrainians staged some stuff when they were driving down the road and saw a whole bunch of dead bodies. After all, it took 2 days, so they probably went there with fine-tooth comb with their media experts trying to make the best of a bad situation. Does that mean it didn't happen? No, of course not. Russia killed a whole bunch of civilians, but so is Ukraine. This is war. Civilians dying war. And when there's no bunkers, like look at Mariupol, there's plenty of bunkers for the civilians to hide in. But in Bucha seems to be low level. A lot of low level houses, which means civilians can't hide in bunkers. And we'll go to Mariupol. If you believe the Russians media and stuff, you would think there's a giant NATO command center under Azov Steel. I'm not even kidding, they're literally saying that. You know, like in stupid villains have like, I don't know, giant bases under volcanoes. Well, NATO's got one of those under Azov Steel, if you believe the Russians. And that is completely bullshit. Because let's say there were either giant NATO command center under Azov Steel, there would be no NATO there. Do you know why? Because there was a week where it was pretty obvious that that Mariupol would get surrounded. And they would have been like, oh, we're not getting surrounded, we're leaving. And it's not like they were saying this before they surrendered. This was like a month after they'd fully besieged the city or whatever. It's hilarious. So yeah, don't believe anything anyone, the media tells you. Of course, you should follow these simple rules. Be skeptical. Follow open source intelligence. Then you realize, oh wait, open source intelligence is not good because Russian soldiers don't have smartphones to show all the destroyed Ukrainian tanks. So then go, I wonder what's more realistic. Russia's killing 10 Ukrainians for every Russian killed, or Ukraine is killing 10 Russians for every Ukrainian killed. I think of this. For every Russian killed, there's a Ukrainian killed, except it's slightly on the Ukraine favor because Ukraine is defensive. And we've seen how good trenches are. So yeah. Oh yeah, and don't forget about the gas clouds, that chemical plant or whatever. Yeah, there was a whole bunch of chemicals that got sprayed into the atmosphere. Russian media said it was a Ukrainian chemical attack. They blew up all these chemical cylinders. They'll kill us. And the pro-Ukrainian media was like, yeah, they didn't cover it. So, of course, that could mean that Ukraine blew it up and they're covering it up. Or it could be that you look on satellite photos, the facility had a whole bunch of berms and could be easily defended. So the Ukrainians are defending there and Russia is selling it. They hear that it explodes. Yeah, so pretty much that just happens in war. And they didn't want to take the spotlight away from Bucha. So yeah, the Russians will say that, isn't it suspicious that every 2 days there's like an atrocity rush commit? Well, yes, it is suspicious until you realize that the media is the media and they can spotlight this. So they find one thing that happens, then pretty much the Ukrainian media is turning a lot of stuff that did happen and just amplifying it. Like, we know for a fact that there is no hospitals available for the Ukrainians in Mariupol. It's been like that for a while, because why else would they try a risky helicopter-borne evacuation flight of wounded? So yeah, that is all.